You're commuting home with Katz and Cosby. Now, here's John Katzimatidis and Rita Cosby on 77 WABC.
And joining us now to talk about the big decision in the Supreme Court and a lot more is Roger Stone, of course, longtime political consultant to President Trump and many, many others, has known the president a long time. Roger, of course, we love your show on WABC on the weekends too, my friend. Your thoughts of this big decision. We played the Rocky music at the top, Roger, because this was an enormous win for President Trump, Roger.
I think it is a great victory for the president because all he's done here is get his due process rights. The cabal of corrupted and politically motivated prosecutors bent on bringing him to trial any place for anything they can, tried to expedite that, proving that it was election interference, and Trump has fought them in the courts and won. People do need to recognize that means that the entire matter goes back to Judge Chuck Tan in D.C., very hostile leftist judge. The government will try to argue that Trump's actions on January 6th were outside the scope of his responsibilities. But, Rita, he has a responsibility as president to see that the laws of the country are faithfully executed. That includes election laws. He had a duty to ensure that we had an honest election. So the good news is I think it's highly unlikely that they can get him to another rigged trial before the election. So in that sense, it is a huge victory.
You know, Roger Stone, talk about double standards in justice. We were just talking about the fact that Garland has not handed over the audio tape. This is of the interview of Joe Biden with the special counsel Robert Hur. And Congress is saying, wait, you've got to be handing it in. We've been asking. This is contempt. This is contempt. And yet it's like crickets. You don't hear anything. And we should hear it. The American public deserves to hear how our president sounds. And apparently, according to the transcript, he couldn't remember the years he was vice president. He couldn't remember the year his son Beau died. I mean, these are huge, important events. He couldn't do that. And then yet here we are today. Steve Bannon, who you know well, is reporting to federal prison. He is serving a 4-month sentence on what? Contempt charges, Roger Stone.
It is very contempt charges that Merrick Garland's not being held to. Rita, I think the situation here is very much like under President Woodrow Wilson. Wilson, elected in 1912, has a debilitating stroke in 1919. He is incapacitated both physically and mentally. His wife, Edith Gall Wilson, is the de facto president. In those days, they were able to keep Wilson essentially hidden from the public, so they were never aware of the extent of his incapacity. This was all helped by the White House Chief of Staff, Edward House. I think Joe Biden is now calling the shots. I'm not comfortable with Joe Biden's fingers on the nuclear button. That really makes me nervous. We saw him melt down in public. But the Bidens are digging in their heels, Rita, and he controls this convention. He controls the Democratic National Committee machinery. I've just read that they plan to expedite the nomination, to do it virally, and then he will be a lock for the Democrats, and I think a loser for them in November. As people question, is anybody home? Is this guy who's in charge of the country, or who's really running the country?
Yeah, and that's the big question. By the way, the Biden campaign just putting out a little bit ago here, Roger Stone, that the court ruling essentially hands Trump, quote, the keys to the dictatorship. And then you have AOC saying she wants to impeach the justices. I mean, it's like, and they're saying that Trump is the threat to democracy.
Yeah, the people who try to keep you off the ballot in 50 states say you're the threat to democracy. The people who are trying to censor and cancel and silence people on social media and on the internet, they say we are the threat to democracy. The people who spied on Americans 178,000 times without court-ordered warrants, they say we are the threat to democracy. Everything they say we are doing is always exactly what they themselves are doing. Alinsky's basic rule for radicals. It's just like after the debate, they said, Trump is such a liar. Why didn't the moderators fact check him? Really? Joe Biden said not a single American serviceman or woman died during his watch. That's a lie.
Judge Weinberg.
Roger, good to talk to you. Let me ask you this. What about the 51 so-called intelligence officials who signed off on a letter that said that the Hunter Biden laptop had all the earmarks of Russian disinformation, and they posted that, went after that, and Biden at the debate against Trump 4 years ago made a whole point that he was exonerated on this. How about that being a lie to the American people? And that could have changed the result of the election.
Well, let's go beyond. He goes on to say that not a single member of his family has taken a penny from any foreign country. We have the bank records that show that his son and his brother and other members of the Biden crime family, himself included, have taken up to $18 million in payments from abroad: Russia, China, Ukraine, Romania, Mexico, Syria. So the man is a consummate liar, and he recycles the suckers and losers, which Trump never said about those who gave their lives for the country. It's been debunked. He recycles the Nazis are good people. Trump didn't say that either. I mean, it is a constant harangue of the left. They never let go of these things, even after they are disproven.
Yeah, it is really stunning to see the spin. As Roger, you see it all too well. Roger Stone, thank you. We love having you on, and make sure you check out Roger's show on WABC. It is awesome. Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. Thank you so much, Roger.
Thank you.
Thanks, Judge. Thanks, Rita. Thank you.
Janine Pirro here for Colonial Metals Group. Colonial Metals Group helps Americans protect their future with the most trusted store of wealth in human history: physical gold and silver. If you're retiring or retired, go to colonialmetalsgroup.com/Pirro for your free Janine Pirro Colonial Metals Group Retirement Protection Kit, or call 800-965-8004. 800-965-8004 now to receive a free home safe and up to $7,500 in free silver.